you are a big hunter. But what do you think about the gun legislation? Are we too lax in Texas? Do we need to have red flag laws? Do we need to have waiting periods? Do we need, on the assault rifles, do we need to outlaw the assault rifles? What do we need to do to make our kids safer? Because as you said, it could happen anywhere. And this is not a matter of sometimes of if it's gonna happen, well, when it's gonna happen. So where do you stand on that, Representative Guerra?
Well, there's a major difference, especially growing up in South Texas. Like Cousin Ace, you know what I'm talking about. It's a big difference between owning a shotgun, owning a rifle, owning a pistol, and quite frankly, the ability for somebody to walk into a gun store and buy a machine gun, because that's what it is. And that's what we need to look at. This stuff about, look, I remember when I went to high school, we'd leave our shotguns in the car and we'd take off after school and go hunt birds, okay? That was a long time ago. But quite frankly, all of these machine gun type of weapons that somebody that's, we need to have age limits on weapons like that. In my opinion, there needs to be some common sense. I'm not saying eliminate them. Some of them maybe so, but we're not ever gonna get there. But let's do some responsibility here. What in the world is somebody under 18 being able to go in and buy a machine gun and leave there and do whatever they want? There needs to be, we need to look at that issue very, very closely, but in the fashion of using some common sense. I think that the outdoors, hunting and fishing is very, very important for our youth, but that's not what we're talking about here. The other day I was talking to my son and he was so excited to show me his new gun. He lives in San Antonio. Now I grew up, I brought the kids up learning how to shoot rifles with a scope, bolt actions, shotguns, things of that nature, even pistols. He says, Dad, let me show you my new gun. Pulls out this box. It's a damn machine gun.
Is your son over 18?
I find that very disturbing. I said, son, why did you buy a people gun? What's this about? And so we talked about it. But he says, Dad, you go to the gun range now, nobody uses a bolt action anymore. They have guns like this. Wow. We have a lot to do in education, but we have a lot to do as far as the laws are concerned about people that own those type of weapons and making sure that there's some responsibility there.
You know, let me just add on that. And in Uvlade, what happened in Uvlade, it was failure, the whole system just failed the kids across the board. I'm not blaming the teachers. As a matter of fact, I put a big blame on law enforcement. They completely dropped the ball. There was a loss of control, management, and command. In those type of situations, they had not been trained to sit by for over an hour while kids are getting shot. They're trained to charge. The commander at that time, and I won't go into detail, but here's the reality is, our law enforcement do a great job, and probably 99% of the time they would have rushed. They didn't at this time because of the failure of leadership. Keep in mind that when you are a police officer or you are in war, say Vietnam or Afghanistan, whatever, you have to have the proper mindset and be ready to risk your life and be able to rush. And that's what they should have done, and they didn't do that. They failed in their major responsibility. And we talk about guns. That's the big elephant in the room, no pun intended. But you'll see legislation this coming session where we will debate, hopefully out of the committees on the Senate floor, legislation to try to increase the age by which you can buy a military assault weapon from 18 to 21. Right now, Right now, you cannot buy a gun until you're 21, but you can buy a military assault weapon at the age of 18. That makes sense. The other big issue that you'll see debated is trying to get back into a criminal law background. We did away with that last session. So you can buy a gun without a criminal background check from the state of Texas. And I'm a gun owner, and I have a license to carry. And even though I've been trained in the Marine Corps, I think anybody who wants to own a gun ought to at least go through a safety course. The other issue has to do with the red flag laws. This young man in Uvlade had all kind of red flags, if you will. That he had a lot of issues, mental issues, and he was never reported. He was allowed to go through school after it was very clear that he was a problem and a potential person that would cause violence and hurt himself or other people or other students. And that's exactly what happened. So those are issues that we need to take up, and let us vote. Let us vote represent our district, our constituents, so you can know where we stand on those issues.
Thank you for that. And I know we, in